Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday afternoon. Hope yours is going well. We've got another Seahawks video to get to today, but first, we just hit 3,700 subscribers to the YouTube channel. Another nice little milestone. I want to give a shout out to all the subscribers, and of course, special tip of the cap goes to the channel members, especially new channel member. Let me get this right here real quick. Carson Schroer and new elite channel member Pete has Big Meat 44. He joins our other elite channel members, Brendon, Mikel, Hasher for MVP, VGK Tiger 75, Ryguy, Salacious Crumb, Brendan Nelson's Haircut, TVO, ItsHoof, The Reno, 12th Man, Austin Roberts, Scott Todd, excuse me, PH Glass, Aaron Garrett, and I'm sorry. Let me make sure I get this right. We have Arfman. Okay, so the intro is getting longer and longer. We may have to do something to trim it in the future. But anyway, we have 3 more UDFAs to look at today. 3 more UDFAs to take a look at. These 3 all play offense, and there are also 3 players that I do not believe have a real path forward to making the roster, either as a 53-manner or a practice squatter. They face long odds, but we did not bring them in just for them to have no chance to do it. They have a chance. Everybody on this team right now has a chance. I think that there's a lot of stuff keeping them from having a big chance, but let's talk about these 3 guys. We have 1 offensive lineman and 2 running backs. And even if they don't make the team, you never know when they might get the call up mid-season because of injuries and stuff. Being familiar with the team and familiar with the offense is valuable. So with that in mind, let's swing into evaluating these 3 UDFAs. I've got some notes on them, and we'll see what happens in the coming months. All right, let's go. First guy is Greg Eiland. He's a guard. I could not find his age, but he played college football at Ole Miss. He's another big guy. Very, very big. 6'8", 335 pounds, ran a 5.640, which is downright lumbering. This dude, yeah, he's not getting anywhere very fast. Let's just put it that way. But he's huge. 6'8", 335 pounds. That is NFL size, ready to go. The only website that I found that gave him a draftable grade was Walter Football. They thought he was going to get picked in the 5th round through the 7th round. Pro Football Network and the Draft Network had him ranked a good 100 spots outside of the draftable range. And ESPN and Pro Football Focus did not have him ranked at all. So I don't think this guy stands a great chance of making the roster. We have a lot of good stuff going on at guard. And again, I must ask, the fact that we got this guy, Greg Eiland, does that mean that we're okay with slow, lumbering, immobile offensive linemen, the road graders, or do we not read too much into it just because he's not going to make the team anyway? That's a question that won't be answered for several months, but it is something that is occurring to me as I look at some of these player profiles. So, Greg Eiland, he's got good size. Obviously, he's very adept at using leverage and getting lower than his opponent, which is valuable. That's something that a lot of offensive linemen coming out of college haven't learned how to do very well yet. They don't need to because they're stronger than their opponents, but this guy is good at that. He's got good awareness on the field. He keeps his head on a swivel. He's got great vision, field vision, in terms of finding where he's supposed to be and where he's supposed to block. He's quick at getting into his blocks, and he's strong. So he does have a lot of positive attributes as far as offensive linemen go. He is, however, somewhat stiff. His footwork needs work, and he has a hard time adjusting on the fly. And maybe most notably for our purposes, he's not very good in space. And again, I have to ask, is that something that we're okay with our offensive linemen or not? Because clearly this is a guy who plays in a phone booth. This guy is the definition of a phone booth offensive lineman. He wants to block the guy right in front of him at the start of the play, and that's about it. He wants to dominate that dude who's lined up across from him, and that's all he's good at. He needs to work on his timing in terms of when he starts engaging his blocks. And at the end of the day, Greg Eiland is a player who did show flashes of dominance at Ole Miss, but never manifested into a likely NFL starter. So, like I said, long odds for Greg Eiland to make this team. I will say that there is probably some great interest in refreshing the offensive line practice squad level depth on this team, and Greg Eiland is a candidate for that, but I like the three guys that we looked at yesterday a little bit more. So my assessment of Greg Eiland is that his size is very appealing, but he doesn't really add too much to the resume besides just his massive size. All right, so that's prospect number one. Let's take a look at prospect number two. We have B.J. Emmons, a running back from Florida Atlantic University. Um, of the two running backs that we picked up in UDFA, I feel like this guy has the better chance to make the team just because he's got third down back talent. But I seriously doubt either stands much of a chance of making the roster in any capacity. So let's start with BJ Emmons. He's 5'11, 215 pounds, runs a 4.5840. Decent, decent. He's got practically no production on the books, however. If you take a look, you'll see. He's got 500 yards from scrimmage in his college football career. He played 2016 at Alabama. Then he got injured. Then he kept transferring, landed at Florida Atlantic, and he kept getting injured still. Never had a big season. Never had a season with more than 250 yards from scrimmage. Just, yeah, not productive at all. It's no wonder this guy didn't get drafted, and it's no wonder that not a single website I could find had a draftable grade on him. I couldn't even find a website that had him ranked on a big board that even went down to 1,000 players. So, yeah, B.J. Emmons never stood a chance of getting drafted. He probably should have just gone back to college, if we're being honest. But he decided to come out. Now he has a chance to make at least a few grand with the Seahawks. Will he make the roster? Well, let's take a look at what kind of player he is. He does run with good power. He's a good power back, and he doesn't fumble. He has good hands. He knows how to secure the ball. He knows how to run people over while not losing the ball. He can reach his top speed fast. He's got very good acceleration for a running back. And the fact that he is a capable player on third down in terms of blocking and catching passes, he makes some sense as a third down back. Um, I could see him competing with Homer and DJ Dallas for third down back responsibilities. He's got decent speed and decent athleticism. Nothing special in either category, but it's not bad for a power back. He didn't play much in college due to the many injuries he suffered and having to transfer from school to school to school. And he's just not a big time playmaker. He's not somebody who's going to bust a lot of 20-yard runs or 30-yard runs or anything like that. He is a short yardage back through and through with some upside as a third down back. Yeah, I would not assume that BJ Emmons has a path forward to actually making this roster. If I had to pick one running back to actually make the roster, it would probably be him. But both guys are holding a lottery ticket, basically. Both guys, yeah, it's just a lottery ticket for both of them. Okay. Now we move on to the third and final prospect. We have Josh Johnson, running back from University of Louisiana Monroe. This guy, he has some appealing talents as well, but again, faces long odds. He's 5'9", 209 pounds, and ran a 4.5340. So he's kind of stout. He's kind of built like thick, you know. He's not tall, but he's got good weight to him. Runs an okay 40 time. He had one really great college football season. 2019, he had 200 rushes for 1,300 yards and 11 touchdowns. Really good stuff. 13 catches. And then in 2020, his role was diminished significantly. He only had 88 carries for 321 yards. He did, however, become more of a receiving threat. He had 18 receptions, although only 61 yards. So, if he had entered the draft after 2019, he probably would have been drafted. But coming off the disappointing 2020, there was just nothing for him. Kind of like Tamori and Terry, actually. So, Josh Johnson had a draftable grade from one website I could find, which was Walter Football. They thought he was going to go anywhere from the 5th through the 7th. ESPN thought he was a undrafted prospect, but they did think he was a top 300 prospect. Pro Football Network had him in the top 400, and no one else had him ranked. So he got some credibility going into this draft process. So anyway, Josh Johnson as a player, he is short and he's stout. I'm sorry, not strout. That is not a word. Stout. And he's good running between the tackles. Little Chris Carson maybe. He's a bruising runner. He likes to power over defenders. And he includes with that good vision. He knows how to follow his blocks and keep his feet moving to grind out extra yardage. He's great at picking up yards after contact. It sounds a lot like a, poor man's version of Chris Carson, and I don't want to get anybody too excited, but Chris Carson was a 7th round pick, so the difference between them is not that great coming out of college. So, hey, you got to give Josh Johnson a bit of a chance of making a splash in the NFL at some point if you make that comp, right? He's a capable receiver out of the backfield. He does have, what is it, 31 receptions over the last 2 seasons. So it does seem like there might be something there. He's not particularly creative as a runner, would be one of the knocks against him. He is somewhat slow and lumbering. Not only is he not very fast, although 4.5340 is not that bad, he's kind of lumbering. He's not very agile. He's not quick. He doesn't make people miss. He needs to keep to north to south running. If you start getting him running east to west, you're going to have a bad time. So Josh Johnson is the other running back we scooped up in UDFA. Again, I can't really see him making the team unless a couple people just really fall flat on their face. But I will say this, the team seems to feel like they need to get a little better third down backs, so it's possible. Don't count them out. All right, so those are the next 3 UDFAs. Next, we're going to take a look at the 3 final UDFAs we picked up. 3 defensive players, and that'll take us home. But let me know what you think about these 3 guys. Who makes the team? Who has a chance at making the team? Who makes the practice squad? What do you think of these 3? Let me know in the comments, and I'm going to get out of here. Peace out. Go Hawks.